Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Sarah. Today I am going to give you a quick review of the 3 resorts that I stayed at while in the Yasawa Islands of Fiji. Now, I did go there solo, so this is not a review as a couple looking for a luxury resort for a honeymoon, but there were solo travelers, there were couples, and there were families at all of the resorts that I stayed at. However, if you're looking for a honeymoon, I know that there are luxury resorts in the Yasawa Islands that are worth looking into, but I just want to give you a heads up straight away that I'm coming from a solo traveler, not a looking for a honeymoon type of experience. Now, in my previous video, I did give kind of why I thought Fiji was a good destination as a solo traveler, and in part that is because the Yasawa Islands has resorts that offer dorms, which means that you could stay pretty much in any of the rooms offered at these resorts, but you can go knowing that you won't be the only solo traveler. Absolutely loved the Yasawa Islands for just its solo travel experience in this tropical, beautiful destination. And all 3 of the resorts I stayed at, I personally chose to stay in dorms because I just like to save money when it comes to accommodations, especially when I'm traveling solo. Another thing to note about staying in the Yasawa Islands are dining plans are compulsory. It doesn't matter what room you stay in, you have to add on food on top of that, and the food I don't think was crazy. For Blue Lagoon it came out to be around 80 US, and for Mantaray Island and Barefoot Kuata it came to around 63 US. Blue Lagoon had the best food, I'm just gonna tell you that straight away. So it did cost more, but it was much better quality and it was just better. But that is something worth noting in terms of your budget. You do need to account for the fact that food is going to cost you extra per day. And it is something that you're going to have to pay when you get to the resort. It is not something that you prepay. All right, so in my Yasawa island hopping experience, I stayed at Blue Lagoon Beach Resort, I stayed at Mantaray Island Resort, and I stayed at Barefoot Kuata. Let's start with a Blue Lagoon. First impressions, I mean, the water is just incredibly beautiful. I mean, I think it's just aptly named at the end of the day, Blue Lagoon. Yeah, they bring you into this room, they sing you the welcome song, which you're gonna get at every Fiji resort, and it's so cute. They also sing you a goodbye song. Yeah, I'm just here for Fiji singing songs. I love it. And then they will show you to your room. They take care of all the luggage for you from once you basically hand your luggage to the ferry, it is handled for you. So you pick it up when you get to the resort. I wanted to do the village visit the second I got to Blue Lagoon, so I rushed and ate lunch and then rushed to join the village visit tour. So my first impressions were it's very well organized, it's very beautiful, and the check-in process was very smooth. The dorms and shared bathrooms at Blue Lagoon were the absolute best. There was hot water in the showers, the bathrooms were always clean and kept clean, and the dorms were kind of 2 small rooms, and I think there were 8 beds in each room, so it wasn't overwhelming. There were no bunk beds. Best experience hands down for the dorms. Really great. The dining experience at Blue Lagoon was the best, especially as a solo traveler. They will ask you as a solo traveler if you want to sit with other solo travelers for dinner. 1, I like that they ask you, and then 2, it was just such a fun experience because some people are traveling solo and they are staying in the beachside villas and some are staying in private rooms. It gives you the chance to meet people regardless of the room type that you're staying in. Overall, I think made dinner so much more fun and inviting, and I think it just gave a sense as a solo traveler just of I belong at this resort as much as the couples do or as the families do. So I love that Blue Lagoon goes that extra step and offers to sit solo travelers together. On top of that, the food at Blue Lagoon was the best. It was the most expensive as well, but it was the best food, and dinner was like a 3-course meal. You could pick 3 to 5 appetizers, same for the mains, and then desserts as well. Very high quality, very well done. Absolutely loved the dining experience at Blue Lagoon. Activities and recreation. Now, I chose each of these resorts for different activities. The reason I chose Blue Lagoon was for the Sawialau caves. I hope I said that right. That was the reason I chose it. I loved the experience. You do pay extra for certain activities, and that was one. None of those prices were crazy exorbitant, so yeah, I thought they were pretty fair. And then I also did a village visit at Blue Lagoon, but every resort offers a village visit, so that is pretty standard. So I chose Blue Lagoon for the caves. I loved that experience. All of the resorts also offer snorkeling, scuba diving. Scuba diving usually comes with an extra fee. Snorkel gear at Blue Lagoon was free, which is great. I'm pretty sure they have a spa, but I never went to it. The Blue Lagoon had a pool. Now, I'm a beach girl, not a pool girl, and I'm in paradise. I'm definitely gonna be on the beach. Of the resorts that I stayed, Barefoot Kuata had a pool, but it did not look like it was great. And I don't think Mantaray Island even had a pool. So Blue Lagoon had a pool. It was very well kept. The pool area was nice. It was right by the dining area. So if you want a pool, Blue Lagoon also has a very nice pool option. Blue Lagoon was my favorite resort experience, and the beach was beautiful, and just overall, it's a phenomenal experience. All right, Mantaray Island Resort, I chose to hopefully see the manta rays. So I actually stayed there longer, and I did see one single manta ray on my very, very, very last day. Like literally hours before I was gonna get on the ferry, I saw a manta ray. But to be fair, I was there at the end of the season, so it is to be expected. Nonetheless, manta ray, my first impression kind of rolling in was it's very jungly. It definitely didn't give kind of the same like wow factor that I had at Blue Lagoon. I thought the beach looked really small, and I saw a bunch of people on it, and I was kind of bummed that I wouldn't have my own, I guess, kind of area to relax on the beach. But the beach is much longer, and one thing I loved about Mantaray was they have hammocks for anyone to use, and at Blue Lagoon hammocks are only for like the beachside rooms. So yeah, I spent a lot of time napping and reading in a hammock, and I loved it. So the beach is much longer than I first kind of thought it was. They also sing you a welcome song. Then somebody did offer to help me with my luggage, which I didn't have much, so it was fine. The check-in area is kind of halfway up the hill, and the dining hall is like up a hill, so you kind of get an idea of how much climbing you're gonna have to do throughout your stay. I did love kind of like the jungle vibes. The design of it was beautiful, and it was just, I don't know, I think I got eaten up even more at Mantaray, but I also got eaten up by mosquitoes at Blue Lagoon, so don't leave home without that bug spray. The check-in process was fine. The only negative was I had to pay extra for towels, I had to pay extra for snorkel gear at Mantaray, and the snorkel gear not being free was slightly annoying. It wasn't crazy expensive, it wasn't expensive, but the other two resorts offer snorkel gear for free, so that was kind of annoying. The dorms and the shared bathrooms. Now, dorms and shared bathrooms at Mantaray were my least favorite. The dorm room is massive, and it's bunk bed. So, I mean, it is like, and it was full 2 of the nights that I was there, and it felt very chaotic. Despite it feeling chaotic, people were very respectful at night. Nobody made crazy noises. Once I'm asleep though, I'm pretty much asleep, so it's pretty hard to wake me up, but it just wasn't my favorite dorm experience. However, the bunk beds are very sturdy, which I appreciate, because at Kuata, spoiler alert, they were not sturdy. Yeah, it just wasn't my favorite. It was just very hectic. And then the shared toilets are composting toilets, so I also didn't like that. I mean, yay for the environment, but I don't like it. However, the showers always had hot water, and they were really beautiful, kind of like outdoorsy. I loved the design of them. So the shower experience was very positive, but the dorm room and the bathrooms were not my favorite. The activities and recreation here, they also offer multiple tours. I did a sunset tube tour, which involved you just kind of take your own drink, grab a tube, and they take you to the other side of the island to watch the sunset from your tube. Again, it's not crazy expensive, but it was an extra charge. And then I did actually my first ocean scuba dive there to get ready for the next dive that I was planning to do at Barefoot Kuata, and that was a very positive experience. And if you want to get scuba certified at Mantaray, you can do that. You just need to make sure that you're there for like 4 to 5 days to go through all of the dives. It was a great experience. Absolutely recommend it. I loved the overall vibe of Mantaray. The dining experience was pretty good. Like, it definitely was second to Blue Lagoon, but it was quite a bit cheaper. So there is that. Overall, I thought the dining experience was great. All 3 meals, excellent. They don't sit solo travelers together like they do at Blue Lagoon. I kind of enjoyed like going there with my book and reading and stuff, but it didn't have that same kind of welcoming vibe that Blue Lagoon had for dinner. However, I was expecting to be on my book or my phone during meals, so it wasn't, it wasn't disappointing, but after Blue Lagoon, it kind of felt like, oh, this is what I was planning and here we are. The way that the way that seeing the manta rays work is that they'll set off an alarm. You run and get snorkel gear, you run to the boat. This happened once while I was there where they had spotted a manta ray, and so you kind of were taken around the corner in the boat. The manta ray left before anyone could view it, so it was kind of a bust. They won't charge you if you don't see a manta ray, so that is kind of nice. And I will say that the current here is pretty strong, so if you're not a strong swimmer, that is something to keep in mind because it is a pretty strong current. The day that I saw it, I ran up the beach because I heard one of the employees say like how strong the current was. So I ran further up the beach and then swam like crazy. Had I gotten in at the other end of the beach, I don't know if I would have ever seen it because the current was very strong. So just keep that in mind. It was absolutely amazing to see it in person. I didn't take my camera or anything because I was in such a rush. So I just had 10 seconds of seeing this like majestic creature in the ocean, and that was it. But yeah, it is definitely a strong current and something to consider. The snorkeling on this reef in this area was very beautiful. Lastly, it was Barefoot Kuata. Now I will say the first impressions for Barefoot Kuata are 10 of 10. This island, I don't know what it is, but it just won me over. Like the whole vibe of this island is just absolutely so beautiful. They sing the welcome song before you even get off the boat, which was great. And then they take you into this waiting area where they talk about the bull shark dive, which I had specifically booked Barefoot Kuata for the bull shark dive. I was listening very intently to their kind of introduction about it, and I did end up doing it. And then they take you to the check-in area. Now I did have a little bit of an issue because I was like the last solo traveler to check in for the dorm, and so by the time I got there, the dorms at Barefoot Kuata are like tents kind of on a platform, so you do have to kind of walk up and it's not on the ground. I liked the vibe of it, honestly. The only issue was that there were 2 bunk beds, and the only beds left were these top bunks, and I mean, like, when I tell you it was not sturdy, getting up and down out of this bed is I'm gonna feel like my life, my end, and the person underneath, I can't imagine. So I went back to the check-in area and said, listen, do you have any rooms free? Like I was ready to spring for a private room, but they actually ended up very kindly working it out for me to stay still in the dorms, but have a bottom bed without displacing anyone from the other room. So kudos to them for working with me. I definitely would have sprung for a private room at that point, but I am very thankful that they were willing to work with me. The bathrooms here were beautiful. Again, I loved the design and the whole vibe. There were supposed to be 2 showers that had warm water, and they did not have warm water. And I was not the only traveler who said they did not have warm water. So I just think it was like a lie. I don't think they have hot water in those showers. Overall, I would say that this resort was my second favorite, and a lot of that had to do with just the way this island looked. It just was so incredibly beautiful. It was just so beautiful. The dining experience was my least favorite. All of the meals were buffet, which is fine, but then coffee in the morning was instant coffee, and you're gonna lose. That's all you serve. And I do think it's that resort thing because I knew somebody who stayed at Barefoot Manta and they also mentioned the instant coffee. Not the worst thing ever. It's better than no coffee, 100%. Better than no coffee, but compared to the other 2 resorts, overall I would just say the dining experience here was definitely a solid 3rd place. There was good food to be had. I enjoyed it, but if I'm ranking them, it's 3rd place, hands down. All right, the activities at Barefoot Kuata tend to revolve around sharks, which I really very much enjoyed. I did the bull shark dive. I have a whole video on that. And if you don't want to do a scuba diving experience, they have a snorkeling with kind of the tamer variety of sharks like reef sharks, and they do shark talks before dinner, which I attended one and I loved it. And then of course snorkeling gear is free, so you can just grab some snorkel gear from the dive center and go right off the beach and snorkel a bit as well. Again, extra charges would depend on kind of what you choose to do. Certain tours obviously cost money, like the scuba diving with bull sharks. So if I'm gonna rank them, Blue Lagoon was my favorite resort. My favorite experience was the bull shark dive at Barefoot Kuata. My favorite island vibe was Kuata Island. Definitely Blue Lagoon and Barefoot Kuata just really stand out for me, but each island had their own kind of vibe and personality, which just made the whole experience a very special. All right, well, I will leave some links in the description to help with your planning. If you found this video helpful, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy travels. Bye. For solo travel